Jaedyn James, thank you so much for sharing your music and for inviting us over.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you in my home tonight.
So tell us about the band. How long has it been together? How did you get together?
Sure, so we've been a band for 2 years. We just celebrated our 2-year this August. And the bass player and I created the band, and things kind of took off. So a year into the band, we were adding members. And surprisingly, many of them were like in our community, like within our friend circles. So a lot of us aren't technically trained musicians. It was like, hey, do you want to do this really cool thing? And a lot of them said yes. And so we've had a lot of interest.
Does it feel more like a family than a band, or definitely a band, and how that works?
I think it's both. It definitely feels like a family. There's times during rehearsals where I'm like, stop joking around. Like, we have so much fun together. But there's things of like, you have to be on time, you have to show up, you have to come to rehearsal 2 times a week, and you have to make it to the shows and the sound checks, and so that's the business part. But our relationships and the energy that you see on stage is family.
And you're doing most of the songwriting, or tell me how the songs come together?
Sure. It's very, very collaborative, but I do come in with 90% of the lyrics, whether or not we come in and they're written out, or I write them as the song is happening. But the bass player and I have been making music together for 4 years now, so we kind of know what we want. But everybody kind of puts their own signature on it, and that is part of the empowerment piece. And it also keeps our music fresh.
So how did you imprint on funk and soul?
For some reason, Billie Holiday was put in my hands at like 8 or 9, and that's what I really got into. At that same time, Christina Aguilera, Whitney Houston, they came into the picture, and James Brown probably became part of my life when I was like 10. So having a love for like a jazz singer like Billie Holiday, and then seeing a performer like James Brown and seeing Christina Aguilera do it, it was like, I can do that. I want to do that. Like, that's what I should do. And I just lived in dream world in high school, thinking about how I could maybe do that someday, but not having the resources to do it until I was 24.
With your first full-length album, Raw, coming out, how does that feel, and what's next?
It is amazing to know you've done like the biggest project of your life, and to be able to hear the music. I feel like the songs come to us, and we need to like be as good to them as possible. They'll be changing forever. Like, I'm not Prince, where I'm like, that's the way it sounds on the CD, that's the way it needs to sound on stage. Like, that's just not how I work. It's always going to be discovering, what is the song calling for? What does it deserve? And we're still just figuring that out, how to give it what it needs. It was such a moment of pride, and it still is, because like I said, we're doing this radio campaign now, and people are responding to it. And it's not perfect. It's DIY, grassroots, community-made music for under $2,000. Nobody's representing us but ourselves. And it's just like, it's so cool. It's just really cool. I don't know how else to not be a geek about it.
Best way to find out more information about Jaedyn James and The Hunger?
Is on our website, jjandthehunger.com. Yeah, that's on the website is probably the best way to keep up with what we're doing.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Thank you
very
much.
Thank you so much,
Best
Karen.
wishes everywhere,
Thank you.
in all the ways.
Thank you. Yeah.